Well, this is a pretty rare guitar. It's a Watkins Rapier, and there are a few of them out there, but none as old as this one. This one, this is a Rapier 33. Rapier 44s are the other guitar. They had 4 pickups, but this is a 1960. Watkins Rapier's 33s come from the 63, 64, and then they came to 44s, but this is a 1960 guitar, which is pretty rare to find. You can tell differences in the pickup and stuff like that there. I don't know whether it's working or not. I don't know whether the neck's straight or not. I don't know whether the truss rod's working or not. But we're going to go through all that with you. We'll have a quick look at it. Charlie and Dave Watkins in London made these guitars. I imagine they're both passed on well and truly now. I don't know, I didn't look that up, but has a few. I'm not going to actually do much. I'm going to change that, of course. I'm not going to do much to try to make it look new looking. I'm going to try to protect these. I don't think they're chrome. I think they're maybe brushed aluminum. I don't know, but there is some on them. I'm going to take it completely apart to let you see. This later on became a 3-way toggle switch, but I have seen none with this Bakelite switch on it, so we'll find out more when we go inside it. I think the knobs are original. You can see they're pretty old. I'm pretty sure they're original. Haven't got a clue what that does. 1 or 2, 1 or 2. So I presume that would be a pickup selector, but what would that do? We'll have to figure that out. I'm going to take the neck off and have a look inside. I'm going to do all the good things. Look, serial number 5420. It shows you how old it is. And let's have a look at the neck. The neck is still in nice condition. The tuners are well and truly up the creek. That's bent. I suspect those are original, those 3. That's been replaced, that's been replaced, and that's been replaced. I suppose the originals have got the gradient in them. Now, I'm not sure what we're going to do about that, but that's been bent and that's been bent. Those 3 are straight. Usually it's these ones up here that get bent, but those are going to be hard to replace, and I might be able to unbend them and fix them up and use some screws in them and make them sort of prettier. But overall, she's a very interesting guitar. Georgie girl is interested in it, aren't you, Georgie girl? Yeah. Sorry. So let's get the other camera on and start looking at it. A couple of little interesting stories about this. My mate who comes here every day, Chris Blair, he's a professional singer. He's touring in England at the moment. But he came here and I brought this guitar out for him and he said, "What? That's my guitar. That's the first guitar I ever bought. The first real serious guitar. The same color and everything. Whether it's the actual same guitar, I don't know, but he was stunned to see that this guitar, same color, which is not the common color, although Watkins are being reintroduced now in the UK, so don't get too excited about them. I think they're selling for about 500 quid. I don't know whether they're good quality or not, but you might see these, but this is worth more than that because it's such a rarity, and because it's so old. It's 0 fret. The frets are actually in good condition. The rosewood fretboard is excellent. So what I'm going to do now is plug it in to see what kind of noise we get, and I'm sure it'll be crackly. I hope all 3 pickups are working, because that would be the biggest problem if they're not. So let's switch on the amp. My mate gave me a brand new amp as well. Let's just see. We'll have a noise. Let's have a look. Middle is working. Back one's working. Middle. The front one. There's something wrong with that switch. There's some noise coming from the front one. You might not be able to hear it. Yeah, there's some noise. Middle pickup when it's switched to the... Oh, let's get inside and have a look. That's it. All two should be maybe three. Maybe it's a tone control because that sounds... Yeah, it sounds different. Oh, the front pickup's working now. Well, we'll have to figure out this wiring. So let's get inside, switch it off. It's quiet though, isn't it? That's it. Half volume on my amp and it's nice and quiet. Surprising. Let's hope that's not too quiet. Okay. Let's take this thing apart, strip it down and see where we are. Bend. Right. This should have a screw on it. It does. Okay. Another little story about this. This Rapier model. My mate, Gary Moore, probably the world's greatest blues guitarist, fantastic chappie. He used to come to my house all the time in 1967. And he brought with him a not a red guitar, but a guitar. I can't remember the colour of it, but that's the same period of time that he owned a Rapier. So it could have been the Rapier, I just can't remember. And now I want to take this off. All right, take it off, turn it around. Look, I tell you, that's quite neat, isn't it? You want to get in closer. Okay, you want to get in closer, don't you? That's quite neat and rusty. Look at the pickups, and they're held on by little spring clips, like car spring clips, and there's little bits of metal there for some reason or other. Oh, I'm going to have to figure out this wiring somehow. But it looks like all I have to do is I'm going to chip it. Oh, that's brittle, that wire. And that's the whole thing comes off. Everything sort of looks like it's working. Something wrong with that switch, but we'll see as we go along. So let's put that to the side at the moment and look at the body now that we have it open. Unusual to find it sprayed inside, isn't it? Because they're just so lazy nowadays they don't bother spraying the inside. But that is sprayed original from the factory. And it's not very dirty. It's quite clean. Okay, let's keep taking it apart. And I'm fascinated. There's a vibrato on this, a vibrato arm. Trem arm, and I'm fascinated to see, my goodness, believe it or not, that actually works, and the trem arm works. Believe it or not, that's the right size. Could you believe that? That's just a spare one I had. Right, okay, you can go to the side. Now, I take that off, and these are all Phillips screws. This must be, I'm suspecting that the trem arms connected to springs that are going to these indentations that are holding the other end of the springs. There's no adjustments on them that I can see. There was a label that went over this which I'm going to try to find something, maybe a little bit of brass sheet and put it on it. I think it was just there to cover it. So let's get this trim arm off. That's a very unique design. Look, there's nothing on the back, right? So I got a feeling, look, it's all self-contained. Look at that. That's quite a clever design, isn't it? Room for a fifth string if you want it. Not too much rust, and that bends and flexes. And it just flexes on its own pivot. There. Very good. I like it. We'll get that all nicely cleaned up. And there's lots of dust under there. And there's the earth wire. Lots of dust. Okay. But that was quick to take apart. Let's have a quick look at the neck before you go. Did you say you were going somewhere? No, you're not. Are you sticking around? Okay, let's have a look at the neck. It's a fender's neck. No, it's not. It's not. Gibson frets. It has an underbow. It's an underbow that's almost the way I like it, but it's just a bit too much of an underbow. So let's take off the truss rod. And take off the truss rod. Take off the truss rod cover. And have a look inside. Oh, right, okay, well I'll show you that. That's been cracked, but it's not broken. It used to be highly polished chrome. I don't know if you can see that or not. That's the inside, that's the outside. We'll see what we can do with that. The nut is very, very nice looking. Let's just see if it's... That's plastic. Right, have a look. That's the kind of truss rod it is. And I have a feeling that nut's been replaced. When I go to look at it more closely, I'll find out. Excuse me, Georgie girl, do you mind? So let's just see what happens when we turn the truss rod. Oh, it's loose as anything. What do you see? I'll just show you. Georgie girl, just 2 seconds just to show the ladies and gentlemen. I'll give you cuddles in 2 seconds. Like it's just flopping about there. Okay, you want cuddles now? Come on, get cuddles, come on. I know, you want cuddles, you need your cuddles. Georgie girl needs her cuddles. And she comes first. I'll show you the truss rod. Well, I think we want to see what's behind the neck, don't we? Gosh, that weighs so little. It fits in with my belief that this body has shrunken so much inside, such a good heavy coat on it, that the wood is dried out inside and the paint has lifted that way, which gives it that patina. Because this, oh, Georgie girl wants a cuddle. I'm so sorry. Pause. Time is done now. Let's get back to this 62-year-old guitar. That's dried out, a bit like myself. Gosh, it's 10 years younger than me. I believe that's the serial number. Let's see what's inside. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. Except for a hole it's got some grease in it. And there's no markings or anything on that that's exciting. But I tell you, what does that weigh? I'm going to pause. I'm going to get my scales, just see if I can figure out what that weighs. That is ridiculously light. Let me get my scales, see if I can weigh this. Right, that was painful. Because I had to get the scales out. They wouldn't work here. This wasn't weighing enough to trigger the scales. So I had to do something which I don't like doing, which is weighing myself and then holding this and weighing it again with me. That weighs 2 pounds. 2 pounds of butter. Less than a kilo it weighs. It's amazing. It's amazing how light it is. concerning too, because that means that there's no moisture in the wood at all. I don't think there's any moisture in it. Back another time. Good, Mr. Blair. Pause now. Somebody's coming to visit. Right, next job we have is taking all the metal off. There's a bit of metal there. A screw in the back. What is it? Is it a screw or off? It's completely, is it? Oh, right, it's going to have to be a pair of pliers that takes it off because it's completely threaded. We'll not be able to salvage this screw. Oh, terrible. Georgie girl. Hey, no, don't. He's playing with the camera. We'll not keep that screw. Well, I think we'll just let that screw go to its place in heaven. Right, can't get to it at the moment. Georgie girl, stop climbing around the back. And this is going to have to be... Just see, there's no screw in that, so it must be one of those... Luckily it's a serrated edge on it. Okay. I wonder what that's made of. Looks like a pewter type thing. There's a split there. And hopefully that split is on the... God, that is so light. Right, take that off. That's C. I'm going to replace that. But right, so that's going over there. And now we're going to take off these things if they come off lightly. Yeah. Nothing much to see there. Right, okay. But lots to see here. Vinegar. Pause. Just one little thing to do here. And you see that chip of paint? Doesn't need to be pressed down, it needs to be pressed in and down, out and down. That's fine now, okay. So, switch you off and come back to you. Looks like it's going to be a long-term project. Pretty safe to say that because this is dried out so much that the holes are all going to be needing to be plugged and maybe re-drilled. So, toothpick time. Okay, you can dry off. Okay, this is for nerds. Fortunately, I'm a nerd. I find this fascinating because this is 1960, 62 years ago. This is how they made things. I'm just going to show you a couple of close-ups of what they've done, which I find unique and interesting because I'm a nerd. But instead of putting springs there, they put two pieces of metal bent spring metal, one bent that way and one bent that way, which gives them twice the height of spring. Let me just show you. I maybe can show you on the camera if it'll get into focus. Yeah, you can see there they've got one piece of metal bent that way and one piece of metal bent that way, and that gives them enough spring to do the job. Let me just loosen it to show you how far it'll go. Look how far that spring will go, and it's not really a lot of pressure or tension, and it means you're not using a little thin spring that could break over time. So there's two little pieces of metal there. Thought that was interesting. The other thing is a simple switch. Yeah, that's in focus. So this switch just it goes forward and back, as you can see. And what that does, if you see when it goes forward and back, it just pushes up a piece of copper to touch another piece of copper. And that's the switch made and the switch against, and the same happens to the black thing. That's just a simple 62-year-old way to do it, and it still works. I'm going to have to clean that out. I'm also going to put some rust inhibitor along all that there. Now, somebody's had a little go at rewiring a bit of this. This is missing from it came off. That'll need cleaned. And this switch is a little bit more complicated. It's a multi-position switch, which is very stiff. And I'm not going to play with it too much because what I'm going to do, but you can see how many positions it has. Look at how many positions I think there's only 3 in use, but look how many different positions you could have on that one rotary switch. Luckily all the wiring's in place, so I don't have to play with it. But what I'm going to do is flood this before I do that, the word Rapier was printed on it. But you can see over the years it's fairly well vanished, and that's a shame. You can get a decal to put on it to say Rapier. It might be worth it. It depends on the owner. The other thing is, just to show you while I'm at it, the knobs. Oh, there it is there in the other one. You can see it, the tiny hole. You can see the other hole now. There's an ultra fine Allen key in there. So I'm going to take them off and clean them on it. What I'm going to do with these is just lightly brush them. I'm not even going to try to get them up to chrome again. And what I'll do is the same as what I did before. Once I've cleaned them and deacidified them, I'll put on some metal lacquer to finish them off. I might try cleaning the side just to see how it takes the cleaning, but that's what I'm going to do. Now, I'm two minds whether to video all that, because there's nothing you're going to see except for me cleaning. But what I will do is I'll do what I can, and I'll speed it up fast. Excuse Georgie girl, but she has to get her nose in. Right, she wants cuddles. Rain stops play. Georgie girl wants cuddles. Right, okay. Hello, baby girl. Yes, I know. I love you too. She's lying on my shoulder, purring, so I'll not speak anymore. Text messages. Right. Now, I'm not cleaning yet, as you noticed, but what I'm going to do is I don't even know whether these are not working or not. What I should do, right, I'm going to use the same piece of paper to clean out that. Before I start to do anything mad, I'm going to start to paint this with crust. Okay, that's the excess off. Excess. So that's it for tonight. You set the camera up, but you don't press the button to record. Let's do a test on the amplifier to see if it's if we're getting sound from it, because I think we had a little bit of issues with sound not coming from one of the pickups. So that's it on. And there it is there. There she goes, just sitting beside me, staring at me. It's just sitting staring at me. Front. Oh. Front and back. Right, okay. Everything's working, but I don't understand how this switches. I must admit, I don't really have a crazy inclination to try to find out how they switch. They're all working. That's the main thing. Okay, I'll switch off the amp and switch off the soldering iron. Now, I'm pretty sure, no, not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that's not the original knob. But even though it's not the original knob, I like it. It makes it even more 60s. It could be the original knob, and maybe the guitars that I've seen with this on it have adjusted it over the years, but or changed them over the years. But I like that. That's not tightened yet. I will do that with the Allen key. I'm just going to give it a more clean around the bits and pieces. Changed my mind. I do a lot of that, don't I? I've changed my mind. I'm going to put some metal lacquer on this. Just make sure. Now, it is clean even though it looks dull. So I'm going to put the metal lacquer on. Right, that's these coated with 2 coats of metal lacquer. Coated metal lacquer, and they've helped an awful lot with the coats of metal lacquer. So I'm going to clean this. First of all, I'm going to just give it a dust just to see what we got underneath it. It's chrome, of course, as usual. Oh, right, okay, that's why it looks so dark and miserable. I haven't got the upper lights on. My mistake, sorry. Right, okay, plow on. I would like to leave it, but I want to stop it from doing any more rust to, so I'm going to put some crust on it. I would like to leave it though, but it needs to be, the rust needs to be stopped. So I just put some of that on. And you're seeing I'm wiping it on, but I don't want it to sit on the surface of the chrome. I'll probably give it 2 coats. This is not a second coat, this is just another wipe. So, in about 5 minutes, I'm going to switch off oh no, I'll put this to the side, up there, and we'll have a quick look at the neck. Now, let's look at the neck. The neck has a couple of little issues. Small issues, but little issues just the same. Somebody's hit it with a little hammer there, or something. It's a chip there, there's a couple of dings there. The frets are going to need a really good finishing off and filing down at the edges, because they're, with the neck wood shrinking over time, the edge of the frets have come out over the wood, and it feels sharp. I'll just check the frets for have I done this before on camera? It's just I've done so many guitars that it feels like I've done it before. On this one, pretty good so far. Oh, there's one needs done, just that one. I'm not going to do it now, by the way. I'm just checking this, and I'll probably do it again on the when it's screwed onto the guitar. Well, that's another. Oh, that's another one that needs some work. Right, so it's going to need some fret leveling. So I think the best thing I could do now is put this neck back on. That's the neck put back on again. It may have to come off again when I start to set it up. Maybe shims might be needed. I don't know yet. But that's it back on again, and that chrome cleaned up nicely. I'm going to pause now while I get this set up for doing the neck. That's that now dried and cured and treated, and it hasn't been too bad because it's only the pinholes that have been filled in, and it's nice and shiny. So I'm going to put this thing back together again now. If I could only do that with my life. Right, okay, so that's going to go back there, and this is going to go on. Now, obviously, I'm an idiot, because you remember I soldered that wire on there, thinking it was an accidental saw put on. It wasn't. I put it in the wrong bloody place. It didn't need to go on there. It was actually the wire that goes round the back on onto that. So I'm going to put another bit of wire from there to there to get it back in again. I'm going to do that, and I'll come back to you, because that's too boring to watch. Alright, I'm almost out of state to put things together. Everything's wired up. This I've cleaned up. It came up really nice chrome, and I cleaned up these and oiled them so as they move. The one thing we don't have, and I forgot about, is we don't have a bridge. And I need to make a bridge of some sort. And I haven't got a clue how to do that yet. But I'm going to work at it, have a look at some options that I might have. I was thinking of something maybe like that, but, you know, I don't know. But I also have that idea of putting something, but I'm going to look and see. And maybe I'll have to order something, but we'll see. But look how nicely, just by the way, that cleaned up. I only cleaned up half of it. The chrome on this was really well done. As you can see, I cleaned up one half with this buffer polish, and it did very well, I must admit. Oh, get out there. Right, good. And I'm very pleased with that. That's just ordinary buffing polish. So that came out nicely. Everything's wired back up together. But now I need to figure out the bridge. But what I think I'll do now is I'll put it in. There's the earth wire for there. I'll put it in and come back to you. I'm also, the screws on this are original screws, but they are pretty crappy. So I'm thinking of using fender screws on this just to give it a little bit of bling, bit of brightness and stuff like that there. But it's starting to come together, and I wish I hadn't forgot about the bridge, because I could have got this done maybe this evening. Could have got it finished. Why is that not sitting down properly? No, everything's okay. It might be just the pickups that are needing to be. Yeah, that's it now. Right, okay. Well, just something holding. If I had the bridge, I probably could have got it working tonight. But it'll get working. Oh, I notice now that when that's on, that's at an angle. So if it's going to be at an angle, that's the angle I wanted. Oh no, it's still at the wrong angle, because I want that further forward. So, well, it's just going to have to sit at an angle, and I'll adjust the top part, whatever I decide to make on the top part to make it work. Well, there she blows. 1960 Rapier. Earlier than George Harrison's Rapier. And everything is working on it. I haven't put the trim arm in. I'll stick that in there just for appearance sake. Although I think that it probably could do with more springs in it to lock it, because it just is a very soft trim arm. But there you go. You've seen everything I've done on it. You can just see the Rapier name. Everything's been treated. I had to reset the neck. I had to take the neck off and re-drill the holes and get in the right shape, because it was in the wrong area. But that hung from the stick. Those are the original tuners. That's the original chrome piece. If you notice that some of the tuners are bent, those are bone. I left the tuners slightly bent because I didn't want to damage the bone. So that's it. I'm just going to check the tuning. Right. And I still don't have a clue what they do. I think they're phase shifters, because it sounds a little bit more grungy when you shift them. I don't really know, but everything works. And I like it. I never thought I would get the action as good as that. That's probably one of the better actions I've seen. Really is good. I had to cobble together a bridge. So I cobbled together one from an acoustic guitar, and it looks okay. It looks the part. And I'm quite happy with the thing. So I'll just play it a couple of tunes, just check it again for tuning. Brand new strings, take time to settle. Right, okay. As you know, I'm not a great player, but I think the chords let you hear what it sounds like. Georgie girl wants a cuddle. Right, okay. What do I do now? Do I wait until you finish your cuddles? Because I don't think it's going to be that long. It actually sounds very mellow, very soft. Be a great one for romantic ballads. You know, this Georgie girl. I know I love you. What am I going to do with you? What'll I do when you are far away and I am blue? What'll I do? What'll I do with just a photograph to take my troubles to? What'll I do? This is my girl. She's cuddling me. She's lying on my shoulder. And it's so cute. It's just so cute. I think I can play a little bit. But anyway, it's good action the whole way down. My baby girl, aren't you? can't get round because I don't want to push you too far. Right, okay. My little pussycat sits on my shoulder all day long. Oh, my little pussycat sits on my shoulder all day long. She sits on my, see what she does. She sits on my shoulder, sings this song. She sits on my shoulder all day long. I love her. Yes, I love her. She's purring away on my neck all day. I love her. She's purring away on my neck all day. I love her. She's purring away on my neck all day. I love it. And what can I say? I love her to my little pony neck. I can't play with one hand. She really wants a cuddle. What was that there? I can't do it because you're freezing the muscles of my hand. No, I can't get up there. I had to do all the frets because they were sharp. Oh, there she's. No, she still wants cuddles. Right, okay. Let's go up to G. I'm afraid this is about the best you're going to get, but everything's doing well. What have I done? That's a lovely sounding guitar. Anyway, it's got to go. I've got to go. I'm standing on one leg and it's driving me nuts. So goodbye. Goodbye, little Rapier guitar. I liked you.